And welcome to New York Jets Pregame Live. What is going on? I am amped up to get into this one between the New York Jets and those Detroit Lions. It is almost like 4 straight playoff games because you got this one against the Lions that you got to win. You have the game coming up against Jacksonville that you got to win. There's a ton of games on this slate. The rest of the way, you got to win out these games, man. You just got to take care of business for those New York Jets. And speaking of taking care of business, we've had Garrett Wilson doing just that. How about that? Garrett Wilson, 15.51 right now, $15.51 at Mojo. His NFL stock is going up over the last 24 hours. It's gone up week over week. If you are interested, check out the link down below in the description of the video in order to get my sign-up code and my link for Mojo. Garrett Wilson's the spotlight for this game. He's played really well the last few weeks. Obviously, no Mike White. So what does that mean for the New York Jets here in this one in the wide receiver core? Garrett Wilson did have a couple of good games at the end with Zach before he was benched, so hopefully we see more of that. Let's get into inactives for the New York Jets because that's a big one. There are a ton of really important guys inactive. I'm nervous. I'm amped up for this one, but I'm also nervous, folks. Not going to lie. We're going to go through. We're going to talk about our vibes, how we're feeling, how's everybody doing. But Mike White inactive. It also seems like it's unlikely he would be good to go for Thursday based off reports from Ian Rappaport. It looks like it's going to be a couple of weeks with the broken rib. So we're praying that Zach Wilson comes back and plays good football. James Robinson inactive. So it's going to be the Bam Knight, Michael Carter, and Ty Johnson show at running back. Quinnen Williams, who was 50-50 for this one, inactive. Not super surprising, unfortunately. Was hoping that he would be good to go for this one, but does not feel like that's going to be the case. Obviously, it isn't the case. He's not playing in this one. So you're going to have guys like Nathan Shepard, JFM step up. The edge rushers are going to have a good day. Losing Quinnen, who's your best defensive player. I know Sauce Gardner's been great, but Quinnen Williams is like all pro level. Spooky stuff. LaMarcus Joyner's out. In comes either Ashton Davis, Tony Adams, or Will Parks to fill in for that spot. Joyner's been very up and down. Slow start to the year. I think he's done a pretty good job of turning things on a little bit down the stretch here. Corey Davis is no good to go, unfortunately, today. That is one of Zach Wilson's favorite targets, so I'm a little bit nervous about that. Corey Davis, injuries have defined Corey Davis's Jets career. He's had some really nice moments, some big clutch catches, some boneheaded mistakes like drops or false starts. But the biggest thing for me is availability. Injuries have been a major part. Jeremy Ruckert is inactive, which he's been inactive most of this year. And Brandon Eccles is inactive, which means for the first time since week 1, Bryce Hall is active. So there you go. As I mentioned, a lot of key players are inactive in this one. It's going to be a tough game, ladies and gentlemen. Do I think the Jets could still win with all these guys injured? Yes, absolutely. I think they are, 1, better coached. 2, I think they could take advantage. And, as I talked about all week long with the advantage that the Jets theoretically should have with them being, playing a Northeast team outside in the elements, in the cold weather. But it's going to be a fight. Detroit's hot right now. They're playing really good football. Let's go to the comments. Lynchpin says a must win today, hoping Zach plays well. But even if that's the case, I think we go back to White to end the season and hopefully a playoff push. I think it's going to be at least 2 games of Zach Wilson. We'll see how he plays. And that's going to be a conversation and a topic and debate here for the next little bit to see what does he do? If he plays well, it's going to be extremely challenging to pull him. But J-Man Hop says White's out 3 weeks apparently, which sucks. Let's hope Zach figured it out. I think that's what all you got to root for right now is you want your best chance to make the playoffs. You got to win these games. So hopefully Zach comes in and play as well. I mean, if he gives you a performance kind of similar to what we saw against the Miami Dolphins this year, or maybe a little bit more than what we saw against the Bills, I think the Jets will have a good shot to win. Mike Fowler says LaMarcus Joyner is out. Didn't even know he had a chance of missing. Makes even less sense considering we waived Lil Parks early in the week, then signed him to our practice squad and elevated him for today. Yeah, that was kind of like I thought it was going to be a paper transaction, but apparently not the case. He's back. He is ready to go. That might be a little bit of an issue at the safety position today across from Whitehead. They might rotate the guys. What's up, Matt? With no Quinn, and let's hope the blitzes get dialed up. They haven't blitzed all year. I don't think they're going to start today. I think they are going to rely on their edge presence to get home. They have pretty much stopped blitzing since the second half of the Cincinnati game, and it's worked. So I don't think they're going to blitz because Quinn Williams is out now. Oh, I like this one from Hawk. Positive vibes. We need the positive vibes today. MC thrives at home on the energy. Bam and MC are going for 100 total yards each today. I hope you're right, because that would be really, really big stuff if you get both of those guys cooking. Oreo says if the Patriots lose and both Chargers and Jets win, we'd be in the 6th and the Chargers in the 7th and in control of our destiny once again. Yeah, you got to root for the Raiders today, got to root for Tennessee today, and obviously you have to root for the New York Jets to take care of business against the Detroit Lions. Lynchpin says the $1 million question, what's a realistic stat line for Zach Wilson? I'm going to go 20 of 32, which is 62.5 completion percentage for, I don't know, maybe 225 yards, which is about 7 yards per attempt. 1 touchdown, no interceptions, maybe a rushing touchdown too. Something along that. Hennessy's hanging out with us. What's up, dude? He says, Detroit sucks. And then says, you're really worried about Detroit? Come on, guys. They're just hot right now. I think defensively, the Jets should be able to this is a defense you should be able to pass against. And I don't know how they're going to be able to cover Garrett Wilson. You just hope that Zach Wilson's able to get them the football on a consistent basis. Artistly, formerly known as Indy Jets, is not confident. Says 12 of 24, 145 yards, 2 interceptions for Zach Wilson. They're probably not winning the game if he puts up a stat line like that. Jets Forever says the Lions won't score. I don't know if I would go that far. I'm going to say 23-17 Jets today. Sack prediction for the defense today. I'll say 4 sacks. I'll say 4. Huff, JFM, Jermaine Johnson, and Sheldon Rankins get sacks. Matthew Malloy says, my gut feeling tells me that we are about to witness the best game of Zach Wilson's career. Hopefully that is true. I would hope that to be the case. By the way, they're wearing green for the first time this year, green on green, which I don't like the green pants, but story for another day. The last time they wore those was against the Tampa Bay Bucks, which is arguably Zach Wilson's best game as a Jet. I hope you are right. Jimmer says this is Zach's chance. Absolutely. 80 passing attempts. They're not going to run 80 plays on offense. Oh, God. James says, Matt, we will know if Zach is the man in the first quarter. Must get off to a fast start or these fans are going to go south quick. Yeah, that's part of the issue, right? Is you want to get him in a rhythm and get him moving quickly. Because I think that's, when he's confident and in a rhythm, I think is the best version. If he's, airmailing screens and missing guys, then it could be a long day. I hope that's not the case. Twisted said, Zach's going up against a top 5 blitzing percentage defense. Not the ideal game to return to. Hope he has a great day. He's got his work cut out for him. We'll see how much he's learned in the 3 weeks off. Supposedly he had a good week of practice. Let's see if it translates to the football field. I hope it does, but let's see. If Zach can't ball out against this awful defense, that's the answer we'll all need to know. Hawk says, I hope Zach goes 16 and 20, 140 yards, no touchdowns, no interceptions, but has 80 rushing yards and 2 rush TDs, plus catches a TD on a trick play, just so the stats look ugly, so the haters cry more. No, I that would be hilarious. I just want the Jets to win, obviously, but it'd be nice to get those passing numbers up against, especially against a defense that is so poor against the pass. Gerard Davis says this game definitely defines Zach Wilson. It's huge. It is a huge test for him, this team, and everything in between. This is just, it's big. It's big. Hennessy says no excuses for Zach. Detroit's defense stinks. The pass defense absolutely does. Run defense has got a little bit better for them this year, but they're like 30th in the league in passing yards against. They got to score. Good point here from Joe. He says Zach's best games were his first game after a layoff. He is averaging 250 yards. I really, again, I hope that this is the case, that he comes back and looks solid. Zach has failed at every opportunity game. I guess with the 2 Patriots games this year would be that. That's, I mean, I guess you're right. Artist formerly known as Indy Jets. I just don't know if Zach can get the ball out as fast as Mike White. It's how our offense is set up. Fair. Yeah, that's Mike White. That's definitely his strength. Something that will be different today is Zach's ability to use his legs. I hope he uses his powers for good and not evil. I hope he is escaping and taking off and running. I think, that's, if he runs 4 or 5 times today and picks up a couple of first downs, I think that's that'd be big. I'd be really pleased to see that. That kind of performance today, I think, would be nice. King Yurton says, you think the defense gets an interception today? Yes, I think they get 1 or 2 turnovers from Jared Goff. I want to check the weather in East Rutherford, the hourly forecast, because it's cold. I want to see the wind. 11-mile-an-hour winds. It's sunny, and it's actually 12-mile-an-hour winds and around 39 degrees. So, yeah, I think they get 1 or 2 turnovers from Goff today. I'll say we'll say Huff strip sack and Sauce interception. Why not? Kelly says, tough game, but Zach will play well enough to win. There we go. Let's get some positivity in here cooking. I love it. Does Moore drop back to wide receiver 8 now that Wilson's playing? I hope not. No, I hope that's not the case, especially with no Corey Davis. He's going to have to be involved. Dan says we need to force turnovers. Amen. Absolutely. Ryan Garcia says, oh no, wind. Yeah, I mean, that obviously not great for Zach, because we saw the wind in New England, and that was a big excuse. I hope he puts that behind him, because that would be not great. Frankie says, should I start Goff or Heineke? I need help. I would start Heineke against that. Look at the defensive matchups. I think Heineke against the Giants I'd be more comfortable in than Goff against the Jets, personally. Thank God Gerard Davis is inactive. They would break sack records. Yeah, just because the revenge factor, I guess. We'll see if the Lions put out their inactives. I'm sure they have. Yeah, here we go. Here's a look at the Giants inactives. You have a guard inactive, Derek Barnes, Michael Brockers, Austin Bryant, Joshua Dobbs, Ross Pierschbacher. There we go. And Craig Reynolds. Super chat time. Thank you so much, Mr. D. Says we need an answer at quarterback. White can't stay healthy, and Zach is unproven, and the O-line needs to be upgraded again. The O-line needs to be healthy again. They're on their 550th tackle of the year. They need to get healthy. It sucks the amount of injuries they've had. Yes, you're probably looking at an offensive tackle in the draft, I would think. but we'll see. Unfortunately, you're right with Mike White, man. He's played. There's no denying how well he's played this year, but he's gotten hurt now 3 times since coming in. I mean, he had to leave the Indy game. And then he came back the following week against Buffalo, but then got hurt against Buffalo last year, and then got hurt against Buffalo this year. That's three. And if I'm not mistaken, I think he left. I missed a couple of plays against the Bengals last year. I'm 99% positive Josh Johnson had to come in for a little bit. Did he not? Yes, he did. He threw 4 passes, so not a ton, but he did have to leave that game because of injury too. Slugo says stop Swift and Williams, and we'll be fine. Yeah, also that's going to be big with no Quinn and Williams. So I think the linebackers are going to have a good day. Very, very, very badly need Quincy Williams come flying around, Quan Alexander doing his thing, and CJ Mosley playing well. Phenom says defensively, the Jets has to hold it down against the Lions. Then the offense won't have to play from behind. Zach Wilson's mobility is a superpower. That has to be a factor. Yeah. And that's a difference than, White. Obviously, White has looked better as a passer. He's not as mobile as Zach. So if you are looking for something that maybe you can see a difference from your quarterback, I would hope that it would be the Zach Wilson mobility. Not Your Average Show says Zach Wilson will have the best game of his career today. Best game. I hope so. It's a defining moment. It's a huge moment for him. It's a gigantic moment for him to instill some confidence in him from the locker room and the fan base. Harry W., he's a member of the channel as well. If you want to do that, you can hit the join button down below. He says Jets win 23-20. I'm saying 23-17. So we're pretty close here, Harry. Jet says Denzel Mims has really stepped up. Yeah, I think he's been okay as a depth guy this year for this Jets team. The biggest catch, arguably the biggest catch of the season against no, maybe not. Maybe the Corey Davis catch against Minnesota could have been the biggest one. But the big play on third down against the Bills. He has 10 catches, 173 yards this year, and he's had a couple big ones. It would be nice to get him in the end zone. To Chuck Me Daddy says, hey, Matt, let's get a big W. Yes, you need to get a win today. You have to improve to 8-6, and hopefully you get some help with teams like the Raiders beating the Pats would be huge. And also if you get some help from the Tennessee Titans, if they are able to beat the Chargers, that would be great. Hawk is much more confident, says 31-16 Jets. Oh, that would be fun. Offensive performance, hell yeah. You see us holding Amon-Ra St. Brown under 40 yards today? Yes, I do. Yeah, Brian says Mike White isn't soft. Any of us would be in traction if we took those shots. Dude finished the game. Zach has missed more games than him. Yeah, I don't want to get it misconstrued. Like I don't want it to sound like I was saying that Mike White was soft. Because he isn't. How he was able to come back in that game is impressive. He's left 3 or 4 games that he's started in this year, which is something that you'd have to keep in mind with him going forward. Again, there's no denying that he's been absolutely better than Zach Wilson this year. So, and he's tough and gutsy. So that is true. Kyle says the playoffs start today. You're not wrong. Slogo says put up signs around MetLife that say run off, put it back, and go. Yeah, that was a tough one. They made us sweat. The Bills made the Jets fans sweat it out, but they were able to win it at the end. That was a wild game. It was a fun one. Yep. Last Man TTV says Will Parks is back? Question mark. He is back in this one. and hopefully plays a factor today with no LaMarcus Joyner. I'd imagine that he does. Frankie says, I think if Sanchez butt fumble game, he comes back and whoop the Pats. Let's hope Zach turns it around. Think so. In 2012, the Jets didn't beat the Pats in 2012. In 2013, he was out. It was Geno who beat the Pats in 2013. So stat prediction for you today, Matt. I see you going for a few TDs. I get stat prediction. We're talking double digit wings and over under on 2.5 bourbons. I'll take the over there on the day. Love it. Oh, well, okay. Well, no. That was the butt fumble was 2012. So no, they lost 45-3 in 2010 to the Pats. I think that's what you're thinking of. We have the years a little confused. But yes, they got blown out in the game in New England. Are your expectations different than your wants for Zach? Yeah, I would like to see Zach throw for 300 plus against a really bad defense. I'm not going to predict that, though. I'm going to go a little bit more on the conservative side and say about 225 and around 62%. But I would want to really see him, put up a performance similar to what Mike White did. Yeah, this is Phenom. Great point here. It says today, I'd like to see Zach Wilson stand in the pocket and throw strikes. See Pittsburgh game in the fourth quarter. Yes, I 1000%. That was his best, maybe his best quarter of football as a Jet. Yeah, I don't get this one, Kyle. He says all green unis while keeping the black end zones is interesting. I don't know. I don't get it. They're very against that green for some reason. It feels like his comments up. There we go. Says, has this been talked about already? If Zach does great, are we going to stick with him? It's going to be a couple of weeks before Mike White is good to go, as what Ian Rappaport was saying. They're on a short week for Thursday, so I think it's going to be tough to get that quick of a turnaround. You have a mini bye week, kind of, because you have a few extra days rest before you have to go to Seattle. So I think that would maybe be where you could see Mike White come back if that's what they're going to do. We'll see what happens these next two games. You got to take it one game, 1 week at a time, and we'll see. Little J08 says, I want him to avoid picks. That's fair. Matthew Malloy says, hopefully Zach has learned to stop running backwards. I agree. Jets forever. All green is the best uniform. You'll sleep. That is no. Here's the official rankings. I had them up. What? I'll pull it up right now. Give me 1 second. Pull it up. I have my rankings. Nope. It got the tweet got deleted. What the hell? Come on now. Oh yeah, here we go. White on white, black on black, green on white, white on black, 50 feet of poop, white on green, green on green. So that's my official rankings. I'll pull it up here. I'll share the screen so we could all see it together. These are the correct official. These are the correct official rankings of the New York Jets uniforms. The green pants I don't like at all. V-Man says 39 degrees cold enough? I hope so. The wind, I think, is going to play a factor in it. Right now, it's saying 12-mile-an-hour winds, according to weather.com. J-Man says, I saw something about Woody and Salah being at odds over the quarterback decision. I don't know if it's true or not, but I can see it either way. Where are we? Are we reading this on Reddit? Jets Facebook? Where are we seeing this? Do you like the black on black? I do. Yeah, I think it's their second best look. I think it looks really sharp. I like it a lot. Brian says it's a mistake having Flacco active. That dude has no investment in this team. Yeah, he looked so disinterested when he had to come in that game. That I just don't think they trust Strevler, unfortunately. Joe says worst possible scenario is a mediocre game by Zach. We need to see major improvement. Yeah, I really hope we get to see some major improvement from him this week. Against the pass, I would say they still have, Chief. He says, to be fair, the Lions defense isn't as bad as they've been the entire season. I would say against the pass, they still kind of had. They let up a bunch of yards last week. They allowed 394 yards to the Vikings, 171 against Jacksonville, which is better. Let's do the box scores, actually. Let's do that instead. Yeah, Kirk went for 425 because I forgot that takes into account the sacks and stuff. Jaguars, you saw Lawrence 179, obviously not great. So that was a pretty good performance there. Before that, you had the Buffalo where Josh Allen went for 253. That's not great. And before that, you had the Giants. What did Daniel Jones stunk that game, but he still went for 341. Before that, you had the Bears and you had Fields go for 167, but he ran for 147 yards. So I still like the Jets' chances against the pass here, to be honest with you. They haven't worn green on black yet. I'm not opposed to trying it out, but I'd like to see it on the field. Yeah, he's inactive again, unfortunately, today. Jeremy Ruckert's going to get his chance. Boo. Boo Jets forever. Boo that man. Yeah, Frankie says worst case scenario is Zach gets hurt. We see Flacco stink it up. God, I hope not. I hope not. Jets Chaos is in here talking about some soccer. Messi just put the feather in his cap. I don't follow soccer in the slightest, so I don't really care what's going on with the World Cup. But if I will say, I will be on with Jeremy and Green Bean at the half. So if you need somewhere to watch the Jets live stream, check them out. Jets Lions live stream on Green Bean's channel. Oh, Brian says Garrett has the cornrows. That means he's having a big game. Yeah, give me 150 receiving yards for Garrett Wilson today. Yep, I took in one of my parlays. I have Zach Wilson over 13 rushing yards. I think he runs the ball 4 or 5 times and is around 25 yards, something like that. Yeah, good pull. FYI, we were 1-15 in 96. We were 9-7 in 97. The Lions bumped us out of the playoffs. Yeah, wasn't that the last week of the year? I want to say. Forgive me, 97. I was 2. So that wasn't really my team, but yes, they lost 13-10 to the Lions on the road though. So maybe get revenge. Hennessy says, I hope we see the Wilson to Wilson connection. There you go. Me too. He's not. By the way, I like the picture too. Artist formerly known as Indie Jet says, I like the picture of you and Green Bean. Didn't realize he was so short. I don't know. I think Green Bean's like 5'10. I'm just 6'4. So that's why it's a big difference. Daniel says Zach Wilson over 30 yards, nothing to lose. So rushing, I'm assuming 30. I hope it's not 30 yards passing, but 30 yards rushing, absolutely. Hennessy Heisman says he's smashing the over on Zach throwing and rushing today. There you go. I think the throwing was what, 198.5, something like that. Maybe Daniel's saying 300 yards, or if we're talking rushing yards, I hope so. Give me something like that. Brian says 24-14. Zach goes 17 of 30, one touchdown, one int, and a rushing touchdown, 22 yards rushing. There we go. Frankie says Green Bean is a cool man hippie. At first, I was like, "Who is this guy?" LOL. He's hilarious. Green Bean's the best. He is. It was so much fun hanging out with him. I have time for a few more. I'll be on for about another 10 minutes, and then I'm getting ready. Got to get my setup ready. Got to put in my wing order. Oh, it's gonna be a good day. What a day of football. Jet says huge that the Lions have to come to New York because they're used to playing inside. Yep, I mean they played well against the Giants in MetLife, but that was before Thanksgiving. Mid-November versus, almost Christmas is two very different weather experiences. Hit the like, fellas. Come on now. Yeah, there we go. Appreciate it. Jim says liked. Thank you, Jim. Kelly says I'm tall like Matt. It's not all bad. There you go. It's fun up there. Ooh, how about this? Zach to Mims for 2 touchdowns. Has anyone in the chat ever asked you if you were going to watch the Jet game? No, I've had people say, "Are you going to go to the game?" Like that would be, I'd have to teleport there, but no. Boo! We got a Lions fan in the chat says, "Let's go Lions! Another W for us. We are on fire right now." Micro Fox, Zach gets over 260 yards, 2 touchdowns, 60 yards rushing. That'd be a great day. Sign me up for that. That'd be 320 all-purpose yards for him between passing and rushing. Hell yeah, sign me up. Teams that play inside are like the teams that play in warm weather. Yep, I think that's advantage Jets. KJ says Zach stat line prediction. I think what was I at 20 of 32, 225 yards, 1 passing touchdown, 1 rushing touchdown. Let's go Zach 2.0. Hopefully this has changed him. This little bench. We see a revitalized and humbled Zach Wilson today. I'm just checking Twitter before if we see any new updates. Doesn't look like it. Let's go. I hope they take a couple of shots too with Zach down the field. Brian says theory. Zach hasn't hit more all year yet to make the defense forget about him today. More catches for 235 and 4 touchdowns. Let's go. I love it. Utah Jets fan is here. What's up, man? He says, "Hey, Matt, my prediction, JJ gets 2 sacks. Go Jets." Yes, I love it. Let's get 2 sacks for Jermaine Johnson and get him a Rookie of the Week award. Why not? We still got to get one for this guy. Yeah, twice a year out of 16 or 17 games. And it's not always in November or December. But they play in a dome for 9 of their games because they also play in Minnesota, which is a dome. So at least more than half of their games are played in a dome. That makes a difference. KJ says, "Do we have to win out to make the playoffs?" No, I think they could afford to lose one more, but they would need to get some significant help. Kelly says, "Thank you, Matt. Check you at halftime. Let's go. JETS, Jets. There we go. Zach to Mims for 2 touchdowns. I couldn't be happier. Let's go, Jets. Please, let's go. When did they play Chicago this year? Can we pull this up? Parlay Poppy's got to be. He's big mad that I said that the Detroit Lions playing in dome and don't really play outside in cold weather that much. They played in Chicago November 13th. Okay. I don't think my girlfriend would like that very much. I'll grow out the beard a little bit more maybe, but I'm not really a mustache guy. He has a great mustache though. Got to give him credit. Oh no. Kev says take a shot after each time Zach Wilson goes backwards. Hopefully that's all goodbye. He didn't do that against the Bills, which is the last time, he played it well this year. So hopefully I don't have to take that many shots if we're doing that. How do you think we fare without Quinnen? Will we survive the Lions offense? I think you're just going to need a bigger day from the edge rushers and potentially Nathan Shepard and I almost said Solomon Thomas, but no, not him. Sheldon Rankins. Where the likes at, baby? Yeah, drop a like in before you go. Worst case scenario, Goff scores 4 touchdowns on us. They haven't. Look, the Jets defense has been real solid all year long. That's where we'll close out with. Yes, the Lions are a fantastic offense. You have to give them their credit. They're going to score, but they've held opponents to 20, 27, 10, 10, 17, 22, 9, 10, 17, 20 points over the last, what? How many games is that? 11 games? First few weeks of the year, they struggled. They were not the same team, 24, 30, 27 against the Ravens, Browns, Bengals, and then they really clamped it down against the Steelers, Dolphins, Packers, Broncos, Pats, Bills, Pats again, Bears. Vikings got them for 27, which was probably their worst showing in a while, and then the Bills scored 20 points. So there we go. Hennessy says all green uniforms confirmed win fire. Then we wear it the rest of the year. Who scores first? Make a bet. Ooh, okay. I will say Bam Knight gets the first touchdown of the day on a rushing touchdown for like 8 yards. That'll do it. KJ says it would be awesome to see you on Let's Talk Jets Radio YouTube channel. I think, I was on with Tyson a few times. He's great. I love what they do over there. I'll have to get them on my show one of these days. I really like their stuff. We got Carter as a guest. All right, there you go. Slugo says Bam Bam all day. Yeah, I think we see a nice Bam Night day. I have him going for like 80 rushing yards today. I think that'll do it. Yeah, to Chuck says Bam Night for 95 touchdown on the first play. Oh, good heavens. Chris says Swift runs it in for the first score. There you go. All right, guys, that's going to do it for me today. Thank you so much for hanging out with me on the pregame show. I'll be on with Green Bean at halftime. Let's get this W. Let's go, Zach Wilson and the Jets. I'll talk to you next time, baby. Go Jets.